Hello, everybody. This is Ron Ake at Seth Wadley Ford here in Ada, Oklahoma. I'm the host of Second Chances on Life podcast. We are in my office here at work tonight. The cleaning crew is walking by, so it is a little awkward, but we'll make do. And we will soon have a steady home that we can record and broadcast from, and I will make that announcement as those things are finalized. So at every episode, sorry, I got to fix this. These cross that I'm wearing, I make out of horseshoe nails. And once we do get a website up, I will be offering them to people that need one. For about every one that is purchased, I probably give 10 away. So I typically just try to ask for donations for material, but we probably offer them for sale on there and help with some fundraising to try to help just as many people as we can, and to help with some overhead and costs to do the show and to get our show out there on different platforms. These things aren't cheap, and we don't have much of a budget, if any, per se to really work from, so we're just making do and little at a time, and we believe the Lord will provide for us as we need and as we go. So it is Second Chances on Life podcast, and that is our email address also, the number 2 N and D for second, chances with an S, on life podcast at gmail.com. So if you want to make comments, or if you want to get in touch with me, please send me emails. If you have questions or comments about the show or any of the episodes, please send an email. I'll try to address them and get to them on episodes to come. And we're going to strictly try to focus on putting something positive out here and helping as many people as we can. So we probably won't if you got something negative to say or to put out there on it, we probably won't pay it no mind. So that you're welcome to if you like to. We just probably won't address it or pay no mind to it. But if you have something positive to say or want to help in any way or contribute in any way positive, please do. Second Chances on Life podcast at gmail.com. So like I said, I am Ron Ake, and I am the host of this podcast. I want to start every episode by thanking some people that I need to thank. I pray before I hit start on every show to ask the Lord to help use me as a vessel and to speak through me in a way that might help others, and maybe put something helpful out here that someone can use and get some help from. That's the only reason I'm doing this, is to try to help others with addiction problems and issues that I've had with anxiety and anger and addiction and depression and all those things. I just want to help people get help that I can relate to and that I can help with. I apologize. We are in my office here, and if I have to itch or if I have to move around, I'm just unable to not clear my throat and to sit still for very long without shifting. So, but I want to start out by thanking my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I want to thank my wife Carla and my son Dakota. I want to thank Seth Wadley himself and Seth Wadley Auto Group. And thank you, Seth. I want to thank Pastor Justin Blankenship and Landmark Church for their friendship and his help. I want to, and the things that he does at Rob's Ranch, and it's amazing. If you need a church or looking to visit and you're near Purcell, Oklahoma, within driving range on Sunday morning, I would highly suggest going to Landmark Church and just witnessing it for yourself. You can get online and watch it, and I suggest that you do that if you can't make it in person. But if you can make it in person, you will walk out a different person. I've never been to a church like it and walked out feeling as good as I do is when I leave after Pastor Justin has done what he does. I want to thank Rob's Ranch Recovery Center in Purcell, Oklahoma as well. That's where I went. And that's where I went for substance use disorders. Mine was alcohol and prescription drugs. Drugs of choice that I was taking was Percocet and Adderall and anything else I could get to numb the world and numb my pain. I've broken a lot of bones over the years, and my body just hurts. But now that I've got all that out of my system, my body still hurts, but I just do what I can to try to cope with it without the alcohol and the drugs. So today's episode is we have some making up to do, and a lot of it. So I don't want to exclude anyone because on this addiction, alcohol, drugs, anything. I may speak from a male perspective because obviously that's all I know, but I have since been out in this recovery world, and I have since met quite a few men that, surprisingly enough, the wife is the one in the relationship that has addiction problems, and in some cases has chosen addiction over the family and over the husband, over the kids and everything, and sadly to the point of death on some of them. So that's what we're doing this podcast for, is to help everybody. Addiction is non-bias, non-prejudice, doesn't care what race or age or sex you are. If you let it in, it will eventually take control. And I hope you don't experience some of the things that I did. But if you have a severe addiction problem with drugs or alcohol, depression, anxiety, anger, any of those, then I can relate. I've been there. And I will never sit on this side of the camera and talk about or tell you anything that I don't know or think to be true and that I haven't experienced myself. So today's topic, like we said, is we have some making up to do. And I want to start by saying the Lord's Prayer. Bear with me. God, our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our trespasses, as we forgive those that trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Thank you for that. And if you do go do at least a faith-based drug and alcohol treatment center like Rob's Ranch or like the Hope Center, you will learn the Serenity Prayer and the Lord's Prayer. And that there was the Lord's Prayer. And you will probably say them multiple times a day. So hopefully by saying them on here, I can help you learn them and get used to saying them, because they both are wonderful prayers in time of need. And if you stop to dissect them down to their core and to their definition and meaning, they are extremely helpful for those of us with addiction problems. Anger, anxiety, depression as well. So, back on the topic of we have some making up to do. I say a lot of times that we didn't tear down the walls overnight and destroy everything overnight and get to the point that we're at, to where we are broken and need help overnight. And we cannot expect that things are going to fix and be repaired overnight. We have a long, long road in front of us, and I want you to know this ahead of time. I want to talk about this ahead of time, that don't ever think that it's weak or be embarrassed to admit you have a problem, for one, and to ask for help. It takes a way stronger person and a bigger person, braver person, to acknowledge there's a problem, look in the mirror and see that the problem is you, and then to ask for help, and then to take the next steps to get the help and to stay sober, especially for a lifetime. That takes a huge person, and it is not easy. It's never going to be easy. There's days, some days are easier than others. In a couple of months now, I'll be clean and sober 2 years. And I can't say that I really crave alcohol and drugs like I did, but there's still temptation. There's still days where I think having one would sounds really good, until I think back to all the stories that I have to say and tell people. Pretty much all of them that are bad and negative start with I was drinking or I was doing drugs. And most of mine was drinking. Between bourbon, rum, and vodka, and whatever you had to drink, I'd be happy to help you drink whatever you had, and then we could maybe crack into mine after yours was gone, or we could be time to leave and I'd tackle mine on my own. But most of mine was alcohol. And you combine that with the depression, the anger, the anxiety, and the pills, and you've got what I describe on most every episode as a runaway freight train, and that's what I was. With a bad temper and hardly any fuse, if any. Go from 0 to 100 way faster than I could ever come down. And sometimes it'd take days to come back down. And I hate that for the people that I've done wrong and ever hurt in this life. I owe you all an apology, and I'm sorry. If I could ever get a chance to tell you in person, then I would. And I would apologize sincerely and say that I'm sorry and ask for your forgiveness. I think every one of us need to get to the point to where we're comfortable doing that. If you know and can be a mature enough person, male or female, to acknowledge the fact that you've done people wrong and you've got some making up to do. And I want you to know ahead of time it's going to be a long road. Since I've gotten out over the last couple of years and tried to help as many people as I can get the help that they need and deserve, I've met people that men and women that think just because they go to rehab and they go through the motions and through the steps, that soon as they get out, they can just walk right back into that house or into that family support unit and be greeted with open arms and everything's just going to be okay. Well, that's not facts. The facts is we have to earn it. We've probably lied and manipulated our way to the bad position that we are in right now to accept ask for forgiveness and ask for help. So obviously there's room for improvement, and it's going to take you looking into the mirror and looking through those pupils and into the soul and getting real with that person first. And I want to talk about that for a second. Is, if we expect to get out of rehab and we're full of knowledge and energy and ambition, that don't make the people on the other end feel the same. They're going to be nervous. They're going to be a little edgy on seeing what product of you they're going to get. And we owe it to ourselves and to them and everybody else to put forth the best product of us that we can. But you've got to look into the eyes, into the mirror, and get past that and get into the peeling the core of that onion down to its very soul. And you've got to know that you've done people wrong, you've hurt people. Your mouth is the worst thing and the sharpest weapon in the arsenal, and it causes deeper scars than any knife or your hands can by far. And even though the people that love us and care for us and that are waiting for us to get out of treatment, they're they believe in us and they support us, they're still scared. They're still nervous that we're going to go back to our old ways and our old self. And they should be, because we've probably lied to them so many times and manipulated the situation so many times that why would they think anything else? We haven't given them any reason to think anything else. And we've got to do that one day at a time, one foot in front of the other, and take it slow, guys. I got off track a little bit there when I was saying that I've met men and women that think they're just going to jump right out and jump right back into the family and everything's going to be just hunky-dory and okay. And it's not, because you're going to have to prove yourself. Your words don't mean squat. It don't mean anything. And I'm going to do a show called Your Words Don't Mean Squat, and we're going to talk about just that. But, excuse me, my nose is itching. My allergies are going nuts. And if I continually clear my throat like that, that's part of it. But yeah, we've lied, manipulated, and take advantage of the situation, and we've got a lot of making up to do, and we got to do it slowly, or it will not work. We have to gain their faith and trust back, their love back in some cases. We've said things that make them not want to love us even, and if they're still in your corner and they're still waiting for you while you're in rehab and to get out, then they love you and they care for you, or they would be long gone. And they would take that opportunity while you're in a confined atmosphere, so to speak, at rehab, and they can find you and serve you papers in a heartbeat. So if that don't happen and they're waiting on you to get out of there, then they love you and they care for you, or they would not be here. So we owe it to them to become the person that, one, you want to be and become, and two, that they want you to be and to become. And it takes, number one, the hardest person in the world to forgive is yourself. And the hardest person in the world to love is yourself. And it took me a while to buy into that when I was being told that, but it's absolutely stone cold true. I was the hardest one for me to forgive and to love. And I don't know why we're so hard on ourselves, but it is. And I think it's even people that don't have addiction issues and problems like we do, I think it's even hard for them to forgive and to love themselves more so than others. But when you do go through the steps to ask for help, acknowledge there's a problem, and then ask for help, take the steps it takes to get the help, put in the work to do the work to get better, and to arm yourself with knowledge and ways of coping, the breathing exercises, the looking down at your feet, and realizing that the Lord has you where you are right there at that moment for a reason. He doesn't make mistakes, and you are where you are for a reason. And breathing in through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. Stop and separate yourself from the situation. Go to your car, go to anywhere you can be by yourself, and say a prayer and ask the Lord to help you. Those things help, and they do help a lot. And I just was too bullheaded to think that my way was the only way, and in turn it was my stinking thinking that got me where I ended up, and that was in rehab. So I want you to pause for a second and think that if you do need help, get the help. And if you do go to rehab and you do have loved ones outside waiting on you, put yourself in their shoes. You know, if they didn't love you and believe in you and want better for you, then they wouldn't be there. So I think it's our duty to ourselves and to them and everybody around us to become the better product of ourselves and to put out the best product of ourselves that we can on a daily basis. It's not easy. I don't do it either. I fail all the time and make mistakes all the time. I just have better ways of coping, and easier for me to ask for forgiveness now than it ever has been. But I can also sense when things are going wrong. I used to say my anger would peak out and hit its high point. That means the cheese has slid off the cracker. And it sounds kind of funny, but in all reality, it's true. When that cheese slides off the cracker and I lose my cool and I freak out and act a fool like I'm known to do, nothing good ever comes from it. It's you're hurting yourself, you're hurting other people, and some of it is problems that'll stick with you for life. There's people that see you act like that never want to be around you, never get to know you, that could have been people that had you been a better influence in their life and a better product of yourself, might have been somebody that had come to you and asked for help. And I've experienced that on my end. I send out the links to these, and I send out a morning prayer and inspiration to a lot of people, and to a lot of people within the Seth Wadley organization, and on a regular basis I have a good amount of people that will call, and we'll talk things out, and we'll pray and ask the Lord to give us a better day and thank Him for giving us a sober day. But I just want everybody to know that, our email to this podcast is secondchancesonlife@gmail.com. And that second is number 2 ND, chances with an S, onlifepodcast@gmail.com. You can email me and in private if you like, and we can have a phone call, we can have a discussion. I'll pray with you, I'll listen to you. I say several times on other episodes, that's the reason the Lord gave us one mouth and 2 ears. And I believe that the best the best salespeople in this world are better listeners than they are talkers. And I think that's true. And if someone needs help, or you see symptoms of someone that might be struggling or needing help, sometimes it just takes asking them, "Are you okay?" and listening to them. We will soon have a website up with links for different places and support and ways of donating to our cause. And we will spend that money trying to help as many people get the help and therapy, counseling, detox, and rehabilitation that they need, that we can. And we can use anybody and everybody's support in doing so. And if you like what we're doing here and you think it's helpful or it might be helpful to someone else, please like it, give us thumbs up, share it, send it to anybody that you think it might help. And like I say, I pray before each episode and just ask that the Lord give me words and use me as a vessel to try to help others. This isn't about me. I've been fortunate enough to have, like Seth Wadley and my family in my corner and my friends to help me and give me the support that I need. And I just want the same for anybody out there that's struggling with any of these issues. And that's drugs, alcohol, anger, depression, anxiety, any of that. But I just wanted you to know with this episode that it takes a lot bigger person to look into the mirror, acknowledge there's a problem, and know you're looking at it. Right there in that mirror is the problem, and it's time for a change. Then to ask for help, accept the help, and put the work in to get the help for long-term and for long-term success and for long-term sobriety. You can't just go sober and clean for 90 days without the education between the ears and the heart, the soul, and the spirit. It won't last. I think you got to have them all. You've got to have the book education, the spiritual education, and the heart to want to do it. And I think you have to be humbled. You have to be broken to be fixed. And I believe we have to get knocked down to look up. And if you are somebody that's already experienced all this and went through and are sober, I thank you for listening to this as well. And then you know what I'm talking about is similar to if we were to have a cure for a type of cancer or something and keep it to ourselves. You can't do that. It is a illness and it is a cure for a sickness. And we have to tell as many people as we can how to get better and how to help one another. That's why we're put here. Jesus teaches us all throughout the Bible that we're here to help one another and to serve one another and not ourselves. And when we can hang our hat on that and know that this life isn't about us, it's about helping one another, it becomes a lot better life to live and a lot easier life to live. And, if you think, well, I'm going to miss the going out and partying and all that, just think about it. Break it down and analyze it. Think about how much money you spend going out and blowing on drugs and alcohol. And just think about all the bad decisions you made along the way. How many people you've hurt along the way. And how many nights have you been out drinking or doing your drugs all night long, and you wake up the next morning? How did you feel? Oh, I can tell you how you felt. You felt like crap. So are we really having that good a time? Are we really partying it up and having a good time? Or are we just wasting a lot of precious time that we could be spending in better ways helping other people? Well, I choose to do the latter. I've spent most of my life doing the first part of that and realized how much time I had wasted, how much money I'd wasted, how many people I'd hurt along the way. And I'm trying to make amends for it and be a better person and to help as many as I possibly can. So we're going to try to start tapering things down to the end. I try to say in every episode some advice that was given to me is try to put your shoes under your bed and try to make your bed every day. If you can't do anything else right, at least you can do that and you've made your bed for the day. While you're on your knees getting your shoes out from under that bed, thank the Lord for this day and for keeping you sober for this day. And while you're down there, asking for forgiveness and help. And the whole idea is to get to the Lord before the world has a chance to get to you. And that's just great advice. If you feel the anxiety and the anger and the temptation coming on, and it's on strong, and you can feel it, and you want to do the next right thing instead of the next wrong thing, try the breathing exercises. 3 breaths in a row through your nose and out through your mouth slowly. Try standing up and looking down at your feet and realizing that the Lord has you where you're at for a reason. He has you where your feet are, and you are where you are for a reason. He don't make mistakes. It's all for a reason. And He won't give you more than you can handle. So I always like saying that toward the end of these that we can't eat an elephant in one bite, but we sure can with a lot of bites. And it goes the same with, we're not going to change this world overnight, but we can sure try to change it one person at a time and help as many as we can, one person at a time. And I could use your help. And I say on other episodes, I've had a lot of pills and booze in my system, and nothing has ever made me feel as good as it does as being able to help somebody get the help that I got and that they deserve. So you can join this cause with me by sharing it, liking it. You can help contribute to our cause if you want to, and if you can. We greatly appreciate it. And we will spend every penny and every ounce of energy we got for the rest of the days that the Lord gives us, trying to help and other people find this better way of life. It's a mean, dark, ugly world out there, and it's getting darker and meaner every day. And people are turning to alcohol and drugs. And the sad thing of that is the ages of addicts and alcoholics are now from about 13 to 21 is the largest growing group, as well as females. It's always been thought to be a majority male problem, male alcoholics and stuff, but those things are changing. The drugs are scarier and dirtier now than they've ever been. In my day, if you wanted to smoke a joint or smoke some weed or something, you knew you was getting weed. Nowadays, you don't. If you wanted to take a pill, up or down or whatever, you pretty much knew what you was getting. Nowadays, you don't. Your odds of you getting some trashy drugs and some toxins that can kill you or have you hooked for life are highly probable. So anyways, guys, we're going to end with that. If you see someone that needs help, please reach out and ask them for help. We're going to try to help this old world one person at a time, like I said. God loves you. I love you, and hope you have a blessed evening. Thank you.